takes a while, man. 60 seconds. There you go.
Yeah, right.
I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Summers Board of Selectmen, a special meeting Tuesday, November 14th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Join me, please, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public here this evening? No public comment. We have a member of the public, right? Sure. No. I walked in before. That's all right. That's okay. You're doing fine. Presentation by First Selectman. I just wanted to let everyone know that the two people that were interviewed last week for the HR, part-time HR person, we selected non-Goldberg, but she decided that she needed to work only at home and could not come into the office. We just said, if that's the case, you can't. But she should have told us that during the interview, but she didn't.
Right. I was just stunned.
She was excellent, by the way. Kathy Lampkin is definitely finding us good candidates, and she's apparently got 3 others that came in after we had these interviews. So we're still interviewing candidates, and I hope to land somebody sometime soon.
Yeah, perfect.
We just haven't been good fishers, huh?
Yeah, I know.
It's a tough job market. It's a tough job.
No, it was funny because she sent me a message and I said, yeah, you were great. I liked the interview. I said, I hope, I didn't give her a clue that we were going to hire her, but I was, trying to be very positive, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't come in. And it's like, how can that be?
I think we've been to this rodeo before,
Yeah.
Seems to be a favorite catchphrase of HR people. They want to work from home.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't everybody?
But how do you work with people if you're not?
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
wondering.
mean,
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, when you serve the public like this, it doesn't really work.
No,
Like it's
Yeah, right.
you know.
Exactly.
Especially that job.
anyway, that's all I have. Consent agenda, we have none, I believe. Boards and commissions. Finance, transfers, appropriations, we have none.
None tonight. No.
CFO, finance report updates.
So today we received the draft versions of both the federal and state single audits and the financial statements. So we will begin the review process over the next few days and deliver any comments or questions that we have about them, and then finalize them up and hopefully issue the audit by the end of the month. Right now the auditors are on the agenda for the November 28th Board of Finance meeting to present to them as well. Seemed like a pretty quick process this year. Been pretty pleased with it.
Great.
Good
We
to hear.
also, I'm sure you guys remember back in July, we did a transfer after the land use reorganization. We did a transfer from the land use salaries to the fire department salaries to cover the additional fire marshal costs. We took, John Roach sent me over the listing of staff members that worked in Stafford for those particular hours. We calculated everything out. Our estimates were pretty accurate. We actually transferred about $130 more than we needed to cover the actual costs.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
It's close.
So I told John, I said, now that we're heading into December, I said it'd be easier to just wait until we have the actuals for the second quarter, and we'll get the expenses and we'll request the transfer to cover those additional costs in January.
I'm still just wondering where the savings are from the EMD position.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to dig into that. I mean, we did a off-budget appropriation, considerable appropriation, and that used to be included in the fire department budget. So,
yeah, and it was part of a staff member's regular working hours.
was taken off the line and backfilled.
Yeah.
So,
there should be some savings there.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
where's that position budgeted now? Is it still at the fire department? Or?
EMD. it has its own line item in the
Good.
civil preparedness budget.
Right.
But we did an appropriation from the general fund, an additional
Yeah.
appropriation.
28,000, 25,000,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Right.
So, but we included in the FY24 budget in the fire department, it was included EMD.
Yeah,
So,
the member at the time was
So it's
budgeted
funded
for
in
it,
2 different locations, you're saying,
potentially.
or? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So, that's all. All right.
Good
Thank you.
catch. By the way, I forgot to do the roll call, so just for the record, we have tonight Selectman Bill Meyer on my left, Selectman Bob Schmidt on my right, Assistant Treasurer Mike Marinaccio, CFO Brian Wissinger, Human Services Director Matt Cox, Director of Public Works and Land Use Todd Rowland, Kim LaFleur, our Operations Director, and Jim O'Hearn, our Chairman of our Economic Development Commission. Is it commission or committee? Commission. Okay. I just know it as the EDC. You just make up the words as you go along. So, okay, thank you very much. Sorry I missed that, first of all. Presentations with scheduled payments. That's EDC. Yes, we need a motion for the total of $170,430.39.
I'm happy to make a motion to approve the payment of $170,430.39.
Second that.
Discussion, any discussion? I reviewed these and asked a few questions just to make sure I understood.
This is extremely clear. Thank you. So good.
Yeah.
Very well
It is
done.
good.
Yeah, I definitely like the way that the new system
Yeah,
lays it all
isn't
out.
it,
the
it
new
really is
format.
nice.
It's it's a shame that it gets so thick in pages, but
I have many fewer questions. That's a good.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
really.
Well, it's a tree killer, but it's clear.
yeah.
Thank you.
Gonna take a vote?
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Updates from boards and commissions. Chairman O'Hearn. Have a seat. Mr. O'Hearn's been pretty busy this year, I can tell you, because he's kept me current. About every 3 or 4 weeks he comes in and we chat for about 45 minutes to an hour. And he's been a busy man. Sometimes he seems like a one-man band, but you do have a commission working with you, right? Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, first of all, let me apologize for my non-stentorian voice. The knucklehead sitting next to me on the plane from Knoxville sneezed and coughed the entire 2-hour flight. So after a 2-hour bacteria bath,
Thank you for being
Welcome
so
aboard.
forthright with us.
That's
not a problem. I needed extra room. Made that story up while I was sitting over there.
So you're in a sharing mood tonight?
I wish. Okay, not that I in any way doubt your acuity, but I put things on paper so that you
That's
would
great.
be able to see it. Let me take a moment to congratulate you all on your hard-fought election.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, look at that.
I didn't realize this was going to be such a well-attended meeting. I would have brought more copies. Not that I think anybody necessarily wants to know.
So that first page, is that March 15th, 2023?
Yes.
Talk about it,
Okay, my understanding was that you wanted an update on what the Economic Development Commission has been doing this year.
yeah.
So,
As well as any problems you're having or what your vision is down the road. I mean, you know,
okay, so these are in chronological order. The first page here is what we put out to try to get people to tune in to the Town of Summers website where we put the new business directory. It was a much bigger job than I think anybody would have known from looking at it. We have no network. So we personally visited all of the businesses in Summers to acquire the information to put into the directory.
Total number?
I'm sorry?
Total number of businesses?
Well, at the time that we started this, it was about 100, our knowledge of it was about 150. Beth Frechette, who has been doing the bulk of the work on this, said that she believes it is now 191. That we have 191 businesses in Summers. Now, clearly, a number of these are home businesses, electricians, plumbers, hairdressers, things like that. But we have probably 50 core businesses that are visible in downtown Summers. But we tried to get to every business, and the ones that we were not able to get to, because sometimes we would get to a business but they weren't open. So Beth Frechette would try to find websites and get information off their websites to put into the town directory. So it was a very large task. So the second page gives you an idea of the information that comes up when you go on to the directory. This is a piece of the information that's in there about every single business in Summers. It gives hours, what products they're vending, what services they offer. We entered into a contract with a software company a year and a half ago.
Might have even been longer than that, yeah, roughly.
For a 3-year contract. And it will grow with us. It will eventually enable businesses that wish to do it, that wish to stay current, to be able to tell people sales for that week, to provide information that is instant and then withdraw it. So that if a business really wanted to use this, they would be able to communicate with the public on a daily basis.
Is this on the town website?
This is on the town website. If you go to the top right-hand corner of the front page of the town website, it says Town Business Directory. And if you click on that,
I was there today, because I knew you were coming in, so I just wanted to, I haven't been on there in a while.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
It gives you all the towns and cities that use the software, so you click on Summers and all our businesses come up. All right, the second initiative that we started this year, I want to underline the word started, we wanted to put advertising on our shuttle buses. And the advertising would be only for Summers businesses. And my plan was, I went to DG Graphics and they said, well, first I went to Todd and I asked him what we could do about putting rails on the sides of the buses so that we could get signs made that would just slide into the rails. Mm-hmm. DG Graphics said they would make a 2-foot by 4-foot sign for a business for $75. My plan was to offer that opportunity to any business in Summers for $25 a month. It was not a plan to make money. It was a plan to make businesses visible in Summers. So Todd observed that because the buses were acquired under a grant, we had to go through the DOT to get approval for this project. And that's pretty much where we stand right now.
Well, they came back and said they're not doing rail systems anymore because they've had a lot of problems with them. what people are doing now is stick-on stickers, essentially. So Jim had asked, do you have any samples or any towns you could point us to? And that was a couple of weeks ago, and I emailed that back to the Section 5310, who's in charge of these grant programs, asking if they could point us in the direction of some other towns that have done this, because it was their recommendation and they haven't responded as of yet.
And I also want to point out, it was 6 months between our initial
Yeah, it was in the
paperwork
summer, June.
and
July.
finally when,
You're working with DOT, that's pretty quick.
Yeah,
Say
well-
6 months is pretty quick for DOT. You should be
well, they did not respond. I went over when Kissel was over at Geisler's, and I went over and asked him if his people could look into it, and that's when somebody got in touch with Todd and said, well, we want stick-ons. Okay, well, our buses are fiberglass, and the only things that DG Graphics does are magnets.
Yeah, because we asked about magnets, so that won't work.
So, we
And
can-
honestly, Jim, I don't know if the rails will work either, because the fiberglass size worried me as far as durability of an aluminum rail.
well, my backup plan is to employ a number of seniors who are riding the shuttles to lean out the windows and hold the signs.
T-shirts.
Even when it's 0 degrees out?
Maybe we can think about putting it out front here.
The older people are tough, and this is their chance to prove it. Well, I don't know where we're going to go with this, but it seemed like an opportunity.
Let's try.
And this will be a discussion for another day. We have no place to put business in this town. Strip malls is it. We have no zoned areas where we could go out and try to recruit some convol-type businesses to come into the town. So in terms of trying to get a significant tax benefit to getting a business to come into town, it's hard. We only have small business locations. So my goal is to make businesses in Summers visible. I think there are many people in Summers that don't even know what the businesses are, much less people who have. Summers is to Enfield what Longmeadow is to East Longmeadow. That's where you want to be. But you bring your buying habits with you. And I think many people who have moved here from Enfield will say, well, I always bought it in, and they have got their own buying habits. And they don't look at Summers as a place to buy, and I would like them to become aware that we have some businesses, and very good ones, in Summers that would work just as well for them, and they could support the local economy. So I don't know where that's going to go. We'll see. All right, the next page is Business of the Month. We just started in the past month. The page that you are seeing here is the one that's also on our website. And we had flyers all over town offering people an opportunity to nominate a business in Summers for Business of the Month. And so our first winner was Grower Direct. They were nominated for their continuing willingness to donate flowers to beautification projects in Summers. And our November Business of the Month is going to be DG Graphics. One of the things that has become clear to me is it's so difficult to communicate within the town of Summers. I've asked Beth Frechette if there was any way that she can track the number of people who go to the business directory on the town website, so we could find out how many people actually click on that directory. We can't communicate with businesses except by going to the businesses. And we have found that many, many businesses in Summers are owned and run by people who will say, and I don't quote, but come close, I can't do that email stuff. This piles up. I don't even know how to get rid of it. Well, that makes it kind of difficult for us to communicate with the businesses in Summers. So our business directory has a way of connecting to the businesses if they can give us a way of connecting to them. But if they don't ever look at it,
Well, don't most of them have Facebook pages and stuff like that? So
I wouldn't say most of them, some of them
well,
do.
the ones that you can go in and actually.
Well, okay, but then that requires an individual clicking on Facebook, 150
Following
businesses.
is a big
Well, you know,
thing on
they
Facebook.
didn't have a hard time applying for the ARPA Small Business Grant. And all of them filled that out. We had over 100 applications, and it was all done online.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
you
would-
know, it's
I
a
would
matter
love-
of do you want to do it or not.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
the point that I'm going to make to this is we've had this out there for over a month. And the only person that has made a nomination is Dave McCaffrey from downstairs.
Yeah.
I haven't had one person in the entire town of Summers nominate a business of the month. And this kind of communications problem is a continuing.
How are you promoting that, though?
I put it on Facebook, the website.
She put, it's on Facebook, it's on the website. We have an EDC Facebook page. Beth put it on that. I hand delivered one of these to the 50 businesses in downtown Summers.
Town offices, I'm sorry, the town offices might be a good idea, like Rec and Leisure and Human Services. Rec and Leisure has 2,500 people on their distribution list. So.
That Town and Leisure, I have not gone. I talked to Maureen, but I have not actually given her that.
Good idea.
I'm happy to do that.
Good idea.
But we could move an awful lot faster if I felt what we were getting out
Okay.
was getting anywhere. Okay, and the third item here is coming up a week from Saturday. It's Small Business Saturday. Last year, we pretty much handed out shopping bags. And that was the extent. This year, we've tried to do a lot more.
Mhm.
We have once again, when I send out press releases to the publications around us, I might as well be attaching to the top, this is from Pocadillo, Idaho.
Yeah.
Nobody
Pocadillo.
publishes our news. I was able to get the picture of Tim and the Grower Direct people in. Other than that, I write and I write and I send it out and I send it out. Nobody puts our stuff in. We just, oh, that's Summers. Yeah.
North Central Connecticut's a pretty good option.
They put the
by way.
picture.
Yeah.
They put the picture in. But part of their problem for me is that they're only monthly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, by the time something happens, it's too late to get it to them in a timely fashion. Well, anyway, so I've sent out all this information to every publication that serves the town of Summers. I've never seen one publish.
Really?
None. And you would think that this would be a story that would have some significance,
Yeah.
but not one. Today's reminder was my really last shot at it. They didn't put it in last week, and they didn't put it in again this week. I thought I could maybe get it into the JI in the little events column.
Yeah.
Nope, they didn't put it in there either.
Oh, that's good.
So, it's coming up a week from Saturday, and we are running shuttle buses out of the senior center. And that in and of itself is going to be an adventure. We've never done it, so we have no history. I don't know what to expect about the number of people that might be interested in using it. I asked Maureen if she would try to get me an idea of how many of the seniors might be interested in using it. But I haven't got an answer back on that. I'm thinking the majority of people probably would rather drive their own cars, but I'm thinking the seniors might not want to have to drive and park and try to get out of cars on Main Street, especially in Somersville. There's not a lot of parking down there. So we're going to have 2 shuttle buses. Well, we've got 1. Maureen sent me a note late last week and said she has 1 driver. Maybe she'll have another. I don't even know if we need to. We've never done this before. We don't have any idea what's going to happen. My original thought was to have 2 routes, a downtown route, Somersville route. But if everybody wants to go downtown, I'm not going to send an empty bus into Somersville and make people who want to go downtown wait. And the other outlier is going to be the winery. I'm thinking that there might be a lot of interest in the bus to the winery.
The problem is they'd want to stay there.
We'll drop them off, but we will not be picking up. The winery won't open till noon, so at least in the morning there's no conflict. But it's about 10 minutes up and 10 minutes back, which occupies the bus for 20 minutes.
When do you expect these buses to start on Saturday?
9 o'clock.
And it's 9 to, what, 3?
5.
5.
I'm thinking that some businesses will stay open later than 5 if business is good, much like the tree lighting date. They've already said many of them are going to stay open later that day. We're just learning from this. We've never done any of this before. So we're also going to have refreshments. There's going to be free coffee, free cookies, free ice cream. Dave McCaffrey has got a veteran who does some kind of coffee business, and he's offered to provide the coffee. They will provide the pots. So we've got coffee. The Blake Center is going to underwrite the cost of ice cream.
Actually, it's being donated by Friendlies. Even
Okay.
better. I mean, people know it's Friendlies ice cream, right? And they're going to be giving sort of, they call them novelties, but it's supposed to be a lot of different things that they produce. So I told Jim, we don't want people standing in line for 5 minutes to try to decide which one they want.
If that's the biggest problem that I have on Small Business Saturday, I'm going to be sending out skyrockets. And the EDC, I think, is going to go out and buy some cookies so the people who get coffee can get something to nibble on while they're drinking coffee. So there will be refreshments. We're going to try to set one up at the senior center and one down in Somersville. I was setting up all the yard signs because we bought yard signs to put up all over town. And I was setting those up today, and I was looking at Summers Village to see if I could see any outside electrical outlets, and I did not see any. But I'm going to have to go over and see if there's some business down there that will let us plug in so we can get the coffee pots in operation. I'm not worried about up here. I'm sure we can plug in at the senior center. We're also going to have handouts. And the handouts are the last pages in what I've given you today. Once again, I got some assistance from Catherine Mushiak of Cassandra's Herbs, and she handed out 10, and I handed out 40. And I went to 40 businesses in Summers, and I handed them a paper with a description of our program on Small Business Saturday, what we were trying to do, and asked if you wanted to participate, would you please give a discount? Out of the core 50 businesses, 15 gave discounts. And in many cases, I had conversations with these people who said, oh, good, nothing. So the ones you have here are the 15 businesses that responded with their business, their address, and what kind of a discount they're offering. So people will know who the businesses are that are giving discounts. It's not to say somebody else needs. I had an opportunity in September. The North Central Connecticut Chamber of Commerce had a luncheon at Joanna's, and I had an opportunity to make a presentation there. And so I handed this paper out, the Summers Welcome page, because I felt even people who thought they knew Summers would not have any idea how many businesses there were. And I said, if you think you know Summers, look at the list and see how many of those businesses you actually know, and try some of the ones that you don't recognize. And then in September, North Central Connecticut News printed their best of edition, and I was surprised and delighted to see that 20 Summers businesses were named best of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've only got maybe 50 core businesses, and of that 50, 20 were named best of. That says something about the quality of the small businesses in Summers. So I handed these out at that luncheon, and these will also be handed out to the people who come in for Small Business Saturday, so that everybody gets copies of the list of discounts, businesses, and bests of. So that's what we've been up to this year. I think it's fair to say that the Economic Development Commission has been a kind of under the radar business over the last 10 years. Tim observed that when he came into office, he didn't even know it existed. And I'm not surprised. For the first 3 years I was on it, we didn't do anything. Everything seemed to have been invested in those business directories that they published years before. And they had so much trouble getting paid for the ads they put in and getting information from the businesses that occupied all the time that the EDC put in. And when that folded, then there was just chatter.
This is very, very good.
The nice thing is you've got a lot of different things going on all at the same time.
I feel we have been very active. I've got good people. They have worked really hard. Beth Rochette does a lot of Facebook and directory work. The people on my commission, no matter what I ask, they're willing to do it. So I think we've been very active. I think we've started initiatives that have got some future.
And if members haven't been active on your commission,
Well,
new people.
And I'm sure we're not unique. Things happen to
Yeah,
people on commissions.
sure, exactly.
Business responsibilities, family responsibilities.
You only get for a certain period of time and you decide
Yeah.
something else.
But right now, I've got 5 good people who work hard, and everybody's on the same page. Nobody is saying, "Well, I'm not agreeing with that." Everybody agrees on everything. I am going to say the one area where I feel we have not been successful, and frankly, I don't think we're going to be successful, is trying to get a pharmacy into Summers. We had our chance at this, and the coterie of people who were against business in Summers drove them out. And I don't think big business forgets that. Certainly CVS is not going to forget it. And now every town around us has got pharmacies. So nobody is going to come in and say, oh, let's start a new pharmacy in a little teeny town that's surrounded by pharmacies. That's not going to happen.
Right.
And one of the people on my commission said he was talking to a guy that works for a CVS or a Big Y pharmacy. And he said he talked to the woman that ran Summers Pharmacy when she closed up, and he said he was kind of interested in maybe taking over. But he said, you can't make money with a pharmacy. You have to be able to sell other things in order to make a pharmacy work. So I thought maybe that empty space next to Trinity Health would be the perfect place for a pharmacy. But clearly, from a business standpoint, it's not going to happen. We have one person interested, and they went to Webster Bank to try to get financing. And the Webster Bank people said that they had no clue. They had no business plan. They didn't know what they were doing. They just said, we'd like to start a pharmacy. You're not going to get money for that.
No.
So, and the Webster Bank said to them, we will guide you, we'll tell you what to do, and they just drifted off into space. So, it's probably the one thing the Summers would like to have that everybody agrees on, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's not that we won't keep trying, but I think our chances are really, really slim. Part of it, we did it to ourselves. We had the chance to do this, and I keep looking at that diagram in my mind that they had of the pharmacy that was going to go in over here with those beautiful shakes and the brick sidewalk, and they were going to pay for the 190-83 intersection redo, and they got driven out of town. So now many of those same people are the ones saying, we need a pharmacy. Yeah, well, and they're the same ones saying, we need more senior housing. Can't afford to live in Summers anymore.
We're working on that.
I hear you loud and clear.
So
Great.
That's what we're up to. We're working hard. We're always open to suggestions, to people saying, could you do something about? I'm gifted with hardworking people, and we would be happy to follow up on any suggestions.
I'd like to thank you for all the hard work you put into this, and obviously you've been driving the commission and have come up with some pretty good results. It's really made a difference so far, and it's much different than it has been in the past. I mean, your business directory alone, I know it's not easy putting those together, but you got it done.
I
pretty amazing.
I want to emphasize, I feel like we really, really worked hard.
Yeah.
We've done way more than the EDC has ever done in the past.
Oh yeah, I was on the EDC for several years and we did nothing.
Well, and that's that was the history of the EDC. Just about everybody that's ever been on it says
we
the same
accomplished
thing.
nothing.
Could I make a website suggestion for you?
Sure.
You don't have a mission on your page. It's missing. And I believe in putting things in writing too. So this is from an adjacent town. I don't want to say the name because but something like this should appear. It should be the first thing on your page. And I think it will let people know kind of what your mission is and what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm fully in support of this. I remember the days of the, I won't say who was heading it up, but when we had all those books of businesses in town, that was the only mission. So something like this, and if you go to this particular town and look at the rest of that web page, you might get a lot of good ideas to incorporate into your web page. And I think we here on Town Hall could help you.
It's interesting. One of my notes jumps right out from this piece of paper is, do we have like a small business startup FAQ for people who don't necessarily even know, like the people that want to start a pharmacy?
Well, they
what
should
you
have
need
a
to start
package
it.
that
We
tells
were
them
doing
about
that.
everything
Yeah,
that they
like
can
how
get
do
and
you
do.
start a business?
Well, we were doing that. And the two people who were in charge of assimilating all the information were Karen Murdoch and now I can't think of his name.
It's all right.
He worked in the land office. Resigned from the land office about a month
Well, it's
ago.
not-
Oh.
Dan
Dan
Parisi.
Parisi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were going to start working, but
He
of
was a
course
liaison.
Karen got tied up with triple-digit zoning meetings, and
Yeah.
and Dan didn't see a future in Summers, so he resigned. So that initiative kind of fell by the wayside, and then we were involved in these other things, and it is absolutely still on our agenda. I think everybody agrees. The only person who said no, I found it really easy, was Melissa Zellick. She opened the new vintage furnishings store down in Somersville at the mill.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was very happy with how easy it was, but she's the only person I have ever known who said, this was really easy. Everybody else is, my God, you just go from place to place and people keep moving you on. And we're aware of it, and we're going to do something about it, but we
Yeah.
We can probably
lost-
work on that together, I think.
We should give them a package of how to deal with town hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty basic.
I would be delighted with any paperwork or personal observations about how we could put some of that into a package for people that wanted to start a business in Summers. I think that would make us more attractive.
Well, Jim, thanks for this. I mean, I think it was very informative. I think very comprehensive. I learned a lot. I've noticed the work. I mean, I think you've laid a lot of foundational things, like you said, and I think from here, you know, there's more opportunities. My question, we're at somewhat of a disadvantage from some of the larger towns. You know, I think of like an Enfield, Vernon, a Long Meadow. I mean, they have full-time staff, like a full-time economic development person. I mean, I know some towns share, some towns contract with companies. I mean, what are some of your thoughts? We also don't have a planner, you know, so we're kind of at a
and I'm
disadvantage.
frank to say I have no retail experience.
Yeah.
The things that I do
You didn't
are
tell me that.
from a consumer's.
Yeah.
I try to tell you as little as possible. Are from a consumer's point of view. If I were a consumer, what would I want to happen? And I do have Karen Murdoch on my committee. They own the winery. I've got Melissa Zellick on my committee. She owns Vintage Furnishings. So I've got business owners who have been through this whole thing. And one of the things that I have to say is I've become much more knowledgeable about businesses in Summers because I've been inside all these businesses now, and I am amazed at how good some of these businesses are. And that's why I really wish we could get more people to patronize these. If you could just get people in the door, I know they would come back. I've been amazed at how well these businesses are run.
Well, how are you going to get the word out with regards to Small Business Saturday?
Well, I sent out press releases to every publication
You
that
got
serves the
signs.
community, got nothing. You know, there's no point in my sending it to the television stations. I don't think we're going to break into the 6 o'clock news.
That's
with
why we
this.
came up with the idea of free coffee and ice cream. That would really draw people in. You say the word free, everybody flocks to.
Well, that's we're doing
Something
what
up on
we
the
can
sign up
do
there?
with the resources at our disposal, but unfortunately, it is one of the disadvantages of being a small town, that our news is not appealing to people who want sensational headlines. So when I say to the JI, I mean, I've been a JI subscriber since forever, but when Hearst bought them out, and they said, nothing will change, still going to have all that good local news. They haven't had a local news story in the JI since that transfer was done.
Right.
So now we've got really nothing. The reminder, Summers is just an add-on.
North Central
I
News.
think,
North
though, I
Central.
mean, we can look, I mean, you know, who's the liaison from Town Hall to the Economic Development Commission now from our staff?
That was Dan Parisi for a while.
I don't think it's anybody.
Yeah, so we may need to look at something like that. I mean, maybe we assign someone, you know, as a Town Hall staff member, as a liaison.
Some people are stretched pretty thin, as you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk. I mean, I think
Finance too.
there's some options, you know, but I mean, the other thing is, you know, we may look at like a small contract, say, with a marketing company, you know, like earned media placements and stuff, the strategy behind it. You know, it's hard. I mean, I've done some of the work. It's hard to do, but you can penetrate and kind of get through, and sometimes there are small businesses even that like do this kind of marketing work to help us penetrate and kind of break out.
I would be delighted to have
Yeah.
that kind of help. I am certainly not above
Yeah.
taking help from anybody that can advance our cause.
These are shopping bags that you're going to be handing out.
I am, on behalf of the staff and management of the Summers Economic Development Commission.
We don't want this to be on camera, you know, accepting something for free.
Oh, yeah, and I'll get it in the paper.
Thank you so much. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll make sure
We
it gets a
will
lot of
be
play.
handing these out
Thank
to
you.
everybody who comes in.
Thank you. Yeah, they're very nice. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, that's so nice.
You can only use them in summer.
I only know.
Can't bring that liaisons.
We'll be handing these out to everybody that comes in for Small Business Saturday. Just, I guess I would like to think that if they've got that, we're in the back of their mind somewhere,
Yeah.
even if they're not always using it for us. So that's the whole story.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
job. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
job.
Very,
Yeah,
very
thank
nice.
you. Thanks for all
Well
your work.
done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
Give you a raise for that.
Double what I'm making now.
I hope you feel better too.
Yes,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, next on our agenda is pending business. I think we have none. New business, Human Services Department. Mr. Cox.
Fast. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you for having me. So I'm coming tonight to recommend and request to be able to hire a new substance use prevention coordinator. Her name is Ariana Flagg. I've interviewed her a couple of times over the last 2 weeks. Other remaining staff met with her yesterday, supported her candidacy. She's got some great experience working with youth, adults, administrators in different schools, and a tremendous commitment and passion and enthusiasm, I think, for substance use prevention, as well as other kinds of prevention, suicide, bullying, mental health supports, that kind of thing. Has not only taught classes and developed curriculum, but has managed events large and small. Seems to be a really versatile kind of person, interested in a lot of different things, and is really a delightful person when you meet her. It's a lovely personality, friendly, outgoing. I think easily build relationships both with youth and parents, as well as professionals in the community.
She's got some very strong background here in working on mental health promotion, anti-bullying, drug prevention, health lifestyle habits. She's got an undergraduate degree from Springfield College, I noticed, which puts out some really strong people, and a master's degree from Emporia State University in Kansas.
Yeah, she grew up in Suffield, so similar kind of community to Summer, so she kind of understands the smaller feel. And then she's worked in a bigger area like Springfield, where the issues and challenges can be much more significant.
Yeah.
But strong relationships with school personnel and parents as well.
That's very good.
What's the plan to kind of bring her up to speed? And I know that, for instance, typically in year one of the DFC grant, you attend the workshops, the 3 workshops. I know the prior person did, but I know they involve a lot of travel. I mean, it's pretty considerable expense. I mean, what's the plan as far as?
Yeah, so the plan would be to send her this coming year.
Okay.
It's all built into the grant, too.
Yeah, it's built into the grant. And so, but separate from that, I'd actually, on the day the last person resigned, had just gotten a draft contract from a consultant who is proposing to do some one-on-one coaching with the former person around the prevention framework, the strategic prevention framework, and help guide us as we move forward with developing programming, particularly in the schools. I've been in touch with him over the last week or so, and he's still willing to do it. It just changes the time frame a little bit. Very reasonable cost. I think tremendous benefit for that person to get up to speed quickly.
Right.
Where does this salary put us as far as the total? I mean, what was the prior person's salary compared to this?
58.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's roughly the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
roughly the same.
So I know we had a lot of money left over from year one, but I mean from year
A lot
two.
of that too was because we didn't hire anybody until halfway through the
Yeah,
year
yeah.
too. So
Yeah, and so we have plans that we're working on to be able to spend those funds down by the end of the town's fiscal year would be the plan, so that we don't have to carry funds further.
Okay.
Sounds good.
No, it sounds fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she is. I think you'll all really like her.
So we need a motion here.
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion to hire, is it Ariana? Ariana Flagg as the Substance Use Prevention Coordinator with an annual salary of $60,000 and a start date of December 4th, 2023.
Second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Director Rowland has a whole bunch of things here for us.
We'll probably go through some of them pretty quickly.
Yeah, I got to say, we just knocked
I think
them
we
out.
have it all right in the packet.
We
I
should,
think
yeah.
you've got a very good explanation, Todd. Thank you.
All right, first up is our seasonal hiring of a couple positions for plow operators that I just can't fill permanently. And we've got 3 really good on-call seasonal guys. I need 2 more. We've been fighting this for 5 years. We found 2 good candidates, we think. First is David Cunard, who retired recently from Pure Foods in Ellington. He lives right down the road from DPW. He has a commercial driver's license. He was a warehouse supervisor manager and also did their snow removal. Has been doing that for 25 years. We brought him in, he road tested him, and the guys liked it. The foreman did that and liked him, and think he has the right temperament for our operation. So we'd like to hire David Cunard as a seasonal plow operator. Also, we interviewed Nathan Talbot. Nathan is young. He's in training to get his commercial driver's license right over here at New England Tractor. He has experience working with his dad in his dad's construction business, doing snow removal with small equipment, and is keen to learn. I would like to bring Nathan in as a pickup truck driver on a remaining route, and that would be anytime we have any snow to plow, as an on-call seasonal employee as well.
You're going to train him as well, it says.
Yeah, we're going to train him. He's still getting his commercial license,
Right.
but we're going to put him in a little pickup and see how he does. Both of these gentlemen have also expressed interest if anything permanent comes up, and we'd like to have people come in as on-call seasonals first. That's where we've hired most of our recent
Check 'em out.
people,
Yeah, makes
to
sense.
see if they gel with everybody else and what their work ethic is and if they're trainable, frankly.
Yeah.
The next 2 are Scott Cloder. Scott worked for us. He was a full-time maintainer some years ago, and before that he was an on-call seasonal plow operator. He lives in Summers. He's got a commercial driver's license, and he has a full-time job, but he would be a backup driver. I would like to have a bit of a bench, because right now it's just me. If somebody calls out, I'm on their route and I can't do my job, which seems like every storm. So I'm trying to get 2 guys to, if need be, we could call them in if they're not working, if they have the hours. So that's Scott Cloder. He was one of our maintainers. He's fully qualified. And the last gentleman is Lars Oren. He's Christina, my assistant's husband. He holds a commercial driver's license. His day job is he's a lineman for the Chicopee Light and Power Company. He's been driving and plowing most of his life. He's also another one I would like to have on call as a backup. In the event we have a winter, I don't think we're gonna, but you never know.
Right.
If we have significant snowfall or we get somebody that's out sick and I need somebody as a fill-in and they're available, I would like to be able to have a bit of a bench to call people in, if they're available from their daytime gig.
What's the pay rates?
Pay rates for commercial drivers is 25. For Nathan, he would start at 23, and then this year, and then if he gets a CDL and we like him, we would move him up next year if he works out
Sounds good.
So we need a motion on that.
Well,
Do we need one at a time, or can we do all four?
Can we do all four of them?
I don't see why not.
All right.
Yes, I have the request in my letter on the back.
Yeah, I have to make a motion to hire David, is that
Cunard?
Cunard, yeah, as the on-call seasonal plow operator. Also make a motion to hire Nathan Talbot as the on-call seasonal plow operator. Motion to hire Scott Floater as a backup on-call seasonal plow operator, and Lars Owen as the backup on-call seasonal plow operator.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Let's support the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next up are all CIP requests. The first is the fire department roof. This is a request of $50,000 or not to exceed $50,000. We did apply for and receive the STEEP grant this fall for that roof. However, it is an 80-20 grant, and it does not pay for any engineering planning or the additional costs of the solar panel removal and reinstallation, which we'll have to do before we can do the roof. The STEEP grant amount is $152,729. My estimate for the entire project is $200,000 or thereabouts. It'll probably be less than that, but I'm asking for $50,000 or to go to CIP with a request for $50,000 so we can complete the project in the spring. I have a contractor lined up through Krog's Gordian system, which is kind of like the state bid, but it's through the capital region. And they've already sent a proposal, and I'm just
good.
pending the outcome of the financing of the rest of it. Do you want to do these one at a time?
Probably.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we probably should. Todd, my only question: could you send me the report for the solar production for that? I'm just curious as to how much we're generating.
Report for what?
Solar production for these panels.
We don't get a report for the solar production of
wouldn't
the
we?
panels because the company that originally did it went out of business. What we're getting is we're eating what we produce, is the way Eversource has explained it to me. If we didn't have the solar panels, our electric bill would be that much higher. I can go back through the Eversource bills and probably build a report on what the solar production is.
I don't think with the rates you're going to be able to figure it out. So we don't have any.
No, I've been
There's no
trying for
meter
years
or
to try to
data?
get something. I've had Eric Ness from DBS Energy look into it because they did the
Who
newer
owns the panels?
panel.
We own the.
We own the panels.
How much does it cost to remove them and put them back on?
Oh God.
Expensive.
I have to.
Well, I'm
get
just
back
wondering
to
if it's worth it. I mean, I've looked at some of the ROIs on it, especially if they're early generation solar.
Yeah.
I mean,
which
if you're
they are.
generating $1,000 a year in savings, why are you going to spend $20,000 to remove them and put them
Right.
back on?
I don't think it'll be that much, but
Well, I'm just curious. I
hedging
mean,
my bet.
just if you could just find out. I don't necessarily. I mean, if it's hard to get it, don't spend 40 hours on this. But I'm just kind of wondering.
Bottom line, though, is we need a new roof, right? I mean,
But I'm saying, why even put solar back on? I mean, just do the roof and leave the
Right.
solar off.
Yeah.
If these panels are.
Mhm.
I mean, some of these the panels are broken.
Right.
You know, they're not producing. They're
how long has it been
producing
up
very
there?
little.
About 6, 7
Uh,
years?
No,
Oh,
well,
I know.
there's two. The main field on the main roof has been up there since 2006, so
okay.
they're old.
They're old.
The other ones were in the teens, so 10 years.
Oh, okay. I can
There's
see
two
that,
different
yeah.
systems.
They
Yeah.
were all done before I started here, so they're
All right.
10
Yeah.
plus
12s,
years.
yeah.
But I mean, we may not even need to put them back on. We got to do the roof. But I mean, why are you going to put old panels on?
Right.
Okay, I'm fine with the.
I have the
project, just-
agreement for I have the agreements, but as
Yeah,
far as,
just-
no, that's been a bit head banging problem, because I have the data for the other buildings, but the firehouse, the original company went bankrupt, there's a German company that has a monitor on it, and I can probably get the production off
Would
of
it
that.
make sense to put new
Um,
panels on?
Well, I think you
it
can
may.
sign new agreements. You
Yeah.
can. I mean, it's decent real estate.
Yeah,
The state's got all kinds of incentives.
That's what I'm saying. It's maybe an opportunity here.
right.
So,
Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
yeah.
Good suggestion.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the CIP request for the fire department roof as presented.
$50,000.
Yes, the amount of 50,000.
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's support the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you.
The next is the police department flooring. This is to replace the carpeting in the police department, where we propose ripping up the existing wall-to-wall carpeting and replacing it with glue-down carpet tiles essentially.
Carpet tiles, yeah, that makes sense.
We looked at doing just VCT, vinyl tile, but that doesn't make sense with the slipperiness
Right.
and the wear patterns of when the police are in and out of the building.
Yeah,
Talking
especially
with
if it's
Kim,
wet.
This is commercial glue down rug essentially.
Makes
And if you
sense.
got a problem, you can take one tile up and replace it versus now we have it bubbling up and it's frayed in a lot of areas and it's kind of a tripping hazard. So it's well overdue to be replaced. And this is for $10,000 for CMP.
Makes sense to me.
Motion.
Yeah, I have to make a motion to appropriate $10,000 to replace the police department's carpeting.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Next is the Historical Museum. The Historical Museum, we just did the roof, the copper roof, the shingle roof, some of the cornice work, the woodwork, rebuilt. There's 22 windows,
Yeah.
literally rebuilt the wooden
Yeah, we've seen all
historical
of your
With
work.
the ESSER money we just did.
Yeah, we did
Oh, yeah.
$100,000 worth of work at
$100,000
historical.
worth
I
of
held
work.
off on everything else because I had a feeling it was going to go over, and it did. Well, it didn't go over. We're just waiting on to finish out the rest of it. We also did the bulkhead in the back. That's a wooden bulkhead that had to be hand rebuilt. All of that work is complete. However, the remaining work is the front porch, the stair treads, the decking, some of the stringers, and then scraping and painting the exterior of the building. We've gotten quotes, so I'm asking for $35,000 additional to finish the historical museum once and for all.
What kind of camera system do you have there for surveillance cameras?
At the museum, none. There's Kibbe that looks at it. The back of Kibbe Fuller does actually look at the museum. There's none in the historical.
We should probably consider something, but okay.
Yeah, there's a security system in fire, but
Okay.
What
No,
was the
that's-
security system?
an alarm like this,
Yeah,
like most
yeah.
of the town
But
buildings.
yeah,
Fire
I mean,
alarms and
camera
burglar
system
alarms.
would be
Mhm.
helpful, especially to ask that of the
Some
town.
remote, yeah.
Yeah. The only, yes, I agree. I mean, I would like more cameras everywhere. Put some in the senior center. I'd like to do that, but they're not monitored. It's a challenge.
Doesn't matter.
But for an investigation afterwards. it'd help.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to
Or-
be
Yeah.
monitored. Yeah. All right, I make a motion to approve the CIP request for the Historical Museum amount of $35,000 as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Next up is Kibbe Fuller. It started out as a roof replacement, and it got to be more than that. The first item is to rebuild the parapet walls. The parapet walls are the gable-end walls that go up above the ridge line of the roof. They're brick, like the rest of the building, and they're
Yeah.
capped with masonry. The masonry is broken and cracked and leaking. Water's intruding into the brickwork. The brickwork needs to be pointed, and a lot of the joints need to be repaired. There's some brickwork that needs to be repaired. There's also flashing that lets into the brick that needs to be repaired that is leaking right now. So that would be the first part of this roof reconstruction, is to replace or to repair the parapet walls and the caps on them. And the cost of that is $55,000 for that project.
Also includes the rubber roof.
Yeah, the roof. We'll do the roof next.
65,000?
No, $55,000 just for the parapet walls.
Parapet walls. Separate.
Oh,
They're all
yeah.
separate. There's
They were
three
in
separate.
different order.
There's
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused.
No, there's three, yeah.
Okay,
three
I see it.
separate.
I got it. I'm on the right one now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're just in different order.
I mean, do we have, and I know kind of post-referendum here, I mean, do we have a clear vision as to what that building's use is going to be going forward?
Well, right now, it's human services and rec and leisure services. and
Right.
It's full. Frankly, they don't have enough space.
Mhm.
I don't see that changing
It's gonna
anytime
be that
soon.
way for a while.
Even if we could find, which we've been talking about, looking for somewhere for human services to go, just with the programming that rec and leisure does, it's well used.
I mean, I guess I'm just struggling as far as like what's the space constraint?
The what?
The space constraint. I mean, I know we're investing a lot of money here. I mean, I'm not saying we abandon Kibbe Fuller. I mean,
Well,
but at the same time, like, I mean, I hear we don't have enough gym space in town. I mean, we have schools. Like, what? And they said, well, during COVID, they put cafeteria tables. Well, we're done with that. You know, like, where's
Well,
the...
no, it's hard to get into the schools, frankly,
Yeah.
because they have a lot going on, and then all of the groups that try
A
to
lot
get
harder
in
than
there
it used
after
to be.
hours is challenging.
But, I mean, there's priorities, in booking. And, I mean, we may have to have that conversation with the schools, Should
there
be
is,
school event first, it should be town event second, because it's a
Should
town
be.
building. It's not a
Mhm.
school building, it's a town-owned building, under our control.
well,
You know, there are buildings at the end of the day. They're the town's buildings.
agreed.
So I
That
just,
discussion may have to be had because there's some friction there about other groups using it and not getting the town priority.
well, I'm not looking to get into a turf war with the Board of Ed, but I'm saying they're town buildings funded
Yeah.
by taxpayers.
Yep.
I've heard that, private for-profit enterprises, not even based in Summers,
Mhm.
are bumping town programs.
That is my understanding.
Well, but I mean, that's a problem. Like, why are we not addressing that? So I hear that there's no space, but then I'm hearing the space is being rented out to
Well,
private
the-
for-profit businesses that aren't even Summers based, and it's bumping town activities.
But there's a lot of activities that go on in Kibbe that are during the same time that the schools are in session or the schools are using it for
I
school
mean, how
activity.
much are we doing? I mean, the kids are in school, so I mean, you have what, maybe preschoolers? I mean, we have a senior center, right, for
No,
senior
no,
population.
Human Services are meeting with people during the day. The meeting, I mean, there's all
Small-
offices over there.
Small groups.
But
I
you
mean, you're
also
talking
got
like
rec
one-on-one
doing stuff.
counseling.
Or
I think a
group
lot of that
counseling.
counseling is done outside of business hours. I'd like to just look at it. Like, I hear a lot of stuff being thrown around. I mean, that used to be a school. It's 2 levels.
No, Kibbe's one.
The structural
Well,
integrity of
it's-
the building
you can't
has
use
to
the
be,
downstairs.
Basement is.
just, it is what it is. I mean, it's the
Two
structural
levels.
integrity
You
regardless
can't,
of what the
you can't put
program.
people downstairs.
You can't let it rot, you can't let the roof leak, you can't let the water in.
It's
So
one,
regardless of
Kibbe's one level. You cannot use the
I
downstairs.
mean, I went to school in the basement, but
Different
I mean,
times. It's not
Oh,
The
accessible.
lunchroom.
Since where the lunchroom was, I mean, that's what I'm
If you-
saying. Like,
The ceilings, we looked at it, actually, before we looked at the senior community center design.
You wouldn't want to
The
eat lunch there
ceilings are
today.
too low, it's not handicap accessible.
I didn't know.
You'd be talking about putting an elevator in Kibbe to make it for the public use. You're talking,
well, it doesn't
Incredible.
necessarily have to be for public use. That's what I'm saying. I've never seen a plan.
We've used it for storage, haven't we?
what kind of plan?
Anything. I mean, I've heard like, hey, let's move social services next door. Okay. I've heard, let's do this, let's build this, let's do that. I mean, now kind of after the referendum's been settled,
Right.
I think we kind of know what we have. Like, where's the plan? Like offices. I mean, I hear there's no space. Like, we had emergency management, we moved them, we spent a lot of money, we're going to do this, then we're going to move social services over there, then we're going to do this. I mean, like, where's the plan? So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm not necessarily saying it's you. I mean, I know because you oversee the buildings. But I mean, I think we just need to lay all this out. Where's the pinch points with rec? Like, what times, what programs do they want to run, during what times, and why can't they do it?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I want to see it, like, in writing,
Yeah, your point's well taken.
and then, like,
Would be the way
what's
to move forward.
office space? I mean, there's a lot of room there, even just on that main level in Kibbe. I mean,
It's all
there's,
offices, there's 2 community rooms and the rest is offices.
what's the square footage?
You need some privacy too for the.
I mean, what's the square footage?
Of
It's
the
pretty
building?
big.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty big. Those
But
were
the-
4
the-
big classrooms that have been subdivided.
Yeah, into
You know,
office space.
But I mean, that's 8 offices. I mean, you need 8 offices worth of space for social services and rec.
1, 2, 3, 4 for human services plus meeting rooms. Rec is using now a big room with the 3 of them in there, and then there's a meeting or activity room, really the art room, that they use in the other room, and that's all of the space. Well, you got the bathrooms and the kitchen,
Yeah.
the utility space. But
But where's the unmet need for space?
this is what I'm told.
That's what I'm saying, though.
more-
It sounds like there's plenty of space there. You got activity rooms, you got a gym, you got enough offices.
Yeah, you say a
Seems
gym,
kind of
it's not a
limited
gym.
to 12 to 15 people at
Yeah,
one time.
a gym that can.
Well,
hold-
I know,
yeah.
but I mean, what kind of programs we running? If it's a bigger program, we run it at schools. So I'm
If
just.
they're available.
Right.
Well, that's what I think we got to dig into. I think we
Well,
need to communicate.
you got to be
with-
sensitive, be careful there.
Right.
We got to
What-
approach it correctly.
I think we should ask them what their policy is. I think we should reach out on behalf of the town. But I think we need specific examples. I mean, if our rec director's looking to book a program and told it isn't available, what's
Right.
going on? Again, if it's the varsity basketball at Summers High School,
Yeah,
fine,
it's the schools are
priority.
first, yeah.
If there's a practice,
Yep.
I mean, there's 3 gyms there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of space. And they're all in great condition, all 3 gyms.
Mm.
So
They
where's
are.
the issue?
Yeah,
You're telling me all 3 gyms are booked?
I don't know.
That's what I've heard they are.
Well, they just haven't given us the information either. That's another problem. They haven't shared it with us.
Well, that's the problem. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff is being thrown out there, and
Yeah.
I don't know that it's. I mean, basketball season can be tough. There is a period, but even then, it should be prioritized.
Yeah,
So okay, but we invested a lot of money here, and
It will
I've
be,
never
yeah.
seen a plan. And I'd like to see one, especially now post referendum.
So,
So we covered the parapet, what about the?
You didn't vote on it, right?
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion passes.
Next, I have the cupola painting. Is that what you're looking at? Or the
Sure.
painting, or the roof?
Roof
Yeah,
replacement.
you need to
Roof
do
Replacement.
full roof replacement.
Replacement.
All right, full roof replacement is pretty straightforward. It's strip the shingles and also do new shingles and new rubber on the flat part of the roof. That we're requesting $65,000. Similar to what we've done here in the historical.
I make a motion to approve the cubicle roof replacement and an amount of $65,000. The CIP cost as presented.
Yeah, I would second that.
Any further discussion? Just one question I have is, what's the square footage of the, just 65,000 seems like a lot of money for that building.
It's about,
Or-
Probably because it's tricky. That's a
yeah,
tricky-
well, you've got the flat roof part that they have to do a
Yeah.
torch down on.
There's a historical aspect to the building, and I'm sure it's.
Get those parapets.
No, it was about what we,
I know.
what did we spend on, this one was like 62, I mean, this building.
You're right, though.
lid gutters, 87.
Oh, yeah, well, we've got,
Yeah, you're right.
those gutters are copper.
All right.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
The cupola.
Cupola.
Scraping and painting the cupola with some minor repairs. This would be done before the roof, after or during the parapet walls, and for this we're requesting $15,000.
It's probably needed to be painted and scraped for many years, right?
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Oh, you look at it, you can tell.
It's in pretty poor condition.
Yeah, people have made comments about that roof for
It
years.
looked terrific when we finished.
Well, the roof's leaking.
I mean, the
now.
yeah,
We have a
the
tarp on it.
cupola, I mean, I should say.
Yeah, and the
You can't
cupola's,
just send Eric up there with a paintbrush.
no.
All right. Well, I hope you make a motion then to approve the refurbishing of the cubicle or cupola.
Second that.
Any further discussion on the cupola painting? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. What do you got next?
Splash
Splash
pad.
Splash pad, splash pad.
Boy, that's a real.
Well, the things you don't know and you don't know.
Yeah, this
A lot
looks.
of things we would have done differently.
Yeah, we
Any of
just
that.
learned about this almost right off the bat. We're slippery.
Yeah, as soon as we opened it, we
Other
had
towns
complaints
have the
about
same
slippery.
problem.
There's a big
Yeah.
conversation going on. And because splash pads are so popular in the last 5 years, everybody's putting them in. And this is a hot topic of conversation. Our engineering firm did spec Gator Grip, which is a sand-like substance that goes in the sealer that goes on top of the concrete. The contractor did apply that. It's not great. It doesn't give you the kind of skid resistance that you would want. We put up signs and told everyone that anyone on the splash pad should use boat shoes or pool shoes. Some do, some don't. We're still getting complaints about it being slippery for the kids. So we talked to the vendor that we bought the water features from, and they recommended another vendor that has a product it's got some spring to it. It's actually a glue down product that is glued down onto the concrete, and it's a surfacing that has a textured coating to it, if you will. Inside edge is what it's called. Squares essentially is what it looks like. That glues down to the surface, and it's what other towns are using or starting to use.
Mhm.
And it gives some, I don't want to say squishiness, but there's a little bit of rebound to it. It's almost like a foam rubber product that's
Yeah,
sprayed down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's used in pool coatings quite extensively, and splash pads is the new thing. So they've been doing more and more of it. And we're proposing to have them come in and clean the existing surface of the concrete, and then put this type of surfacing down to deal with this problem once and for all. It's a significant cost. It's $60,000 is what I'm asking for.
What's the total cost for the splash pad?
Oh,
260, something like that.
268 or something,
280, somewhere around there, yeah.
something like that.
Well, if it's not
Less
safe,
than-
I think
We
we.
raised about $100,000, I recall. Yeah.
140, 30 something.
150-ish.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
But I mean, this thing was engineered incorrectly.
Yeah, well, to do it over again, I wouldn't have done the whole butterfly thing in the concrete the way it was. I would just do, knowing what I know now that I didn't know then, just do a flat piece of concrete to a spot drain and have a sign that says Macy's Place and the butterfly. I think we could have had that conversation with the large donors that started this project, just to say, doing it this way is an additional, a lot more costly, and the problems that it will result from down the road is something we want to avoid. So we could have done something different.
What's the square footage of the splash pad?
Oh God.
40
Not a lot.
Is it 40
No,
square?
it's not big. Is it 40 by 40?
40 by 40.
Is it 40 square?
So I'm get on my calculator.
Right,
That would be 1,600. if it's 40
1,600.
can't read that.
So we've already spent how much on it?
square. Yeah, 280, I'd say.
280. Now we're going to add 60 more. So we're at
But some of that was
340.
donated. I mean,
But I'm just saying, so
Yeah, but
$340,000.
Yeah.
So we're paying $212 per square foot.
It looks like it's
Build
80.
a house for that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, what's the cost of residential construction?
It's 80 by 80.
80 by 80 it is?
You're not gonna have all those kids in your house, are you?
80 square? Really?
Well, the
It doesn't
outside,
seem
but
80
then
by
minus
80
the.
with the cover
Oh,
on
I
it.
agree that it's expensive, but I think for
Might
Yeah,
be-
but
liability,
the pool
it's
itself
something the
might be
community
60.
wanted. so-
yeah, I think for liability purposes, we need to act on it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It might be worth reaching out. So the town of Manchester just built one of these a few years ago. I think they wrapped theirs up just kind of as ours started. I'd be curious to know what they put on theirs, because it doesn't have this like foam or this rubber, and it's very non-slip. It's at Verplank Elementary, right outside of Verplank Elementary.
What other towns are using what you're putting on?
I have to go back and look.
I'm just curious what they.
I mean, what's the recourse against the person that designed this? I mean, don't you have to give a product that works? I mean, you design a splash pad. I mean,
Well, the splash pad works.
the water
surfacing-
squirts. I mean, a whole part of the splash pad is people don't get hurt, right? I mean, isn't that kind of common sense?
Are people getting hurt, or is it more of a nuisance? We've not had any lawsuits, and kids are falling. What would the recourse against the architect be? You should have spec something else for the.
I mean, should
So
have
the
did your job
surfacing?
and not made it slippery. I mean, right? Isn't that kind of common sense with a splash pad? You don't make it slippery.
Well, they spec'd Gator Grip, which was what at that time was what was being spec'd industry wide. Since that time, this is 2018, we've learned better.
As are other towns, right? You're not the only town.
Oh,
doing
no,
this.
it's a huge topic of the conversation in
Yeah.
the Parks and Rec folks, and
Right.
other towns are dealing with the same thing.
So what
Well,
are
as
they
well as
doing?
other-
What are the like-minded towns doing?
They're looking at the same kind of products and
Yeah.
looking at resurfacing their splash pads with different vendors, but same idea.
I mean, some of
Doing
this, you know,
something else.
pitch, things like that, all is a factor, right? And the slipperiness. I mean, there's a
Well,
lot.
ours
of,
is yes, it could be, but ours is pretty damn flat. I mean, that's one of
Yeah.
the issues with the cost, is it's so flat, it has the integrated drains and the butterfly pattern that,
I
it's
mean,
just
I'm
the
just
kids
not
running
happy
around.
of the size and the cost. I mean, I feel like for the size of a splash pad, it's not very big.
Hmm.
Doesn't have very many features. I mean, we're paying now a lot of money and even more money. And
Yeah. All true.
Well, how's it-
Unfortunately, we're here, though.
what do you mean?
Well,
We've
what's the
already got it built.
alternative?
Yeah.
It's
What's the use like?
pretty heavy during the summer.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good addition to the town. I mean, even the location,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we probably in hindsight, you know, maybe would have put it somewhere else. I mean, I think. Okay.
No, I hear you, and your concerns are well founded. It's just, you
Just
know,
trying to make the
we
best
have to,
decisions we
right,
can
make the
at the
best of
time.
what we've got. I'll ask Manchester what they did.
Yeah, I'd be curious because I don't know what they did, and like I said, theirs opened about the time that ours started to come to fruition.
I mean, we looked at Wilbraham, but it's a different animal because they use Gator Grip, but they're literally on the beach, so it's covered in sand all
I
the
mean,
time.
the one that they built
It's
is
just-
massive.
it's-
The first problem they had was the water shot too far, and it caused all the grass around it to turn to mud, and they had to adjust that. But the pad itself is. I've never seen. My kids have never fallen at it. My kids go crazy at those things.
Well,
Um,
some of it is user behavior.
yeah.
not
But there still are some liability issues that we should be concerned about.
watched. But there is that, yeah, and that's the concern.
That's what
So
concerns
what-
me. One lawsuit and you're in trouble.
You know, what happens if we,
You know,
we don't
and
do
then
anything.
then you're saying, well, why
Where's
did I
the
not
purpose?
spend my money fixing it? When somebody wants
Mm.
$100,000 or something.
Well, I just want to hold people accountable for competent designs. I mean, now we're throwing
Well-
money. I mean, how much did it cost to put Gator Grip down?
that was part of the original.
It's probably a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
I can't
It
imagine
was
it
part
was
of the
cheap.
original contract. I
But
don't
I'm
know.
just saying, like, why? I mean, now we got to pay for 2 surfaces.
Mm.
You know, we paid for Gator Grip. Now we got to pay for this. I mean, we're not the first town to. I mean, Six Flags. Everywhere you go, they have these parks, and
Yeah.
People are running barefoot on them.
People are running barefoot,
And
they're
they're not
not-
falling.
they're not
Right.
falling.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
Yeah. True. Pools, same thing.
I mean, Bob, I think we're stuck. I agree with you there. I'm just not happy. I'm not just
Well, I'm
gonna.
not happy either.
You know, I don't want to shell. I mean, this is a full-time position.
Oh, I'm not saying this is. I'm excited to spend that much money to fix something that should have been right in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think we have to do it.
I mean, there's no recourse though against this engineer.
Talk to the town attorney.
I mean, the contract
I mean,
documents.
you ask them why did they
document-
spec that, but they're going to say that's the industry standard at the time.
Right.
Was it though?
And they're going to say you signed off on it.
But I mean, it
We
was the
approved
industry
it.
standard.
I don't know. I would
That's
have
what I'm
to-
saying.
would
I
have
mean,
to
who are we
research
relying
it.
on? The engineer that put it in. Obviously, it doesn't work.
Well, rather than be in a litigation for a long time, I'd just rather have you investigate and fix it.
Yeah.
We need a motion then.
Happy to make a motion to approve $60,000 for a splash pad non-slip surface.
I'll reluctantly second it.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in support say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you. I got 2 more.
Oh,
No,
still
2
going.
was ridiculous.
Field line painter.
Yeah, line painter and
Equipment, or
Cruiser.
car and equipment. Yeah, field line painter. This is our primary field line painter, which we've been having an awful lot of trouble with the one that we have now. We're back to using the backup one intermittently because the one we have now we bought in 2019. It failed within a year. The company replaced it. Then we had problems with it. They sent out new parts. We put a new engine on it. Then had drive issues with it. They've sent out new parts. At this point, they're telling us it's no longer under warranty. So the problems we have with it are problems.
So
It's
you
been a
need a new
lemon
one.
from day one. Now, to the company's credit, they did replace the entire thing once. They gave us an engine, and they also replaced the drive units twice over the last, 4 years now. Yeah, this is
We're
the
not
painter we
buying the
use.
same company, right?
No, we're going to a better quality product with the next one. You know, it's a primary painter for all of our field markings, soccer fields, lacrosse fields, baseball, softball.
so you asked Ellington and they got this.
Yeah, the guys went and demoed the one that Ellington has, and they love it. They've had it for 15 years, so
Oh,
that's what
okay, well,
we're
that's good.
proposing to replace this one with.
Sounds good.
It's a Pioneer Athletics machine.
Well, that's great. I'd have make a motion for the park department to purchase a new field line painter.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in support say aye.
Aye.
Lastly is a police cruiser. This is as part of our fleet replacement cycle. Actually, the 2014 we're actually going to leave in service because that has a new engine as of 18 months ago, I think it was, or thereabouts. This would be replacing a 2015 police cruiser. What we propose to do with this is to hand it down to the town hall pool and get rid of the 2002 Explorer that's out there. That we would sell. This would be replacing the existing cruiser off the state bid with a similar Explorer. We would take the camera system and the radios and what have you out of the existing and put it in the new one. And then move the 2015 police cruiser down to the town hall as a town hall pool car. Get rid of the 2002 Ford Explorer. That's one of the pool cars here.
Could we get a? I'm fine with this, but could we get a list of the current fleet and the mileage, year
Oh, yeah.
mileage, just to see? I'm fine with it. And again, I will recap all the homework. It's not all your homework, Todd, but you're just the
I
one
have
that gets to
this
bring
list
all
is
the...
easy. I
This
have
he
it in my
keeps, and
CIP.
he can
It's
even
on the
tell you
CIP
the
fleet.
proposed
Yeah.
year replacement. so.
Is
Yeah.
is the cost increase just the standard cost now?
No, that's my estimate. We're still waiting on the actual price from MHQ. It'll be less than this, but I don't like to come back for more money, so.
Yeah, no, and I mean I've seen them creep up each year. I just
Yeah.
this one's probably about your proposal versus the
Yeah,
last
it's probably
one
in the
we purchased about-
54, 55
Was
or
it the
something,
last
if I
one
had
we
to
bought? I
guess.
think it was
but-
49.
yeah.
You counting everything else that goes in there, computers and.
Well, there is
So
that,
all that
but
we wa-
MHQ
Oh,
orders
that's
it, we bring the old one, once they have the new
Yeah.
one, they change everything over, and,
There is like some additionals though with like the boxes in the trunk and stuff
Right,
that
right,
get
right.
added on. The striping
You
now that
paint
we're
it,
doing.
right,
exactly.
right,
Yeah,
and
so I
take
mean,
we have to
there
take the
are,
striping off the other one, and,
there are some other things.
Right.
I make a motion to approve the police SUV cruiser, amount of $60,000 as presented.
Second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you, Todd. 4 things, right? The solar, we're gonna follow up on. We're gonna
Yep.
follow up on the plan for space for Kibbe and the other buildings, for parks and social services, the playground surfacing, and then the mileage and years for the current police fleet.
that'll, you know.
4 things. Okay, thank you. Got my
Okay.
list.
And you can have all that. So
You
by,
got the minutes?
Right here.
29, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd happy,
Approval of minutes, November 20th, November 2nd.
yeah, I'd happy to make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 2nd, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
I had 2 quick corrections.
Oh, sure.
On section C, like Charlie, the first selectman's name, just missing an E.
Oh,
Yeah, I missed that.
oh,
So,
So
thank you.
just correct that. And then on the second page,
Mhm.
item I, new business, number 2, it says to approve it as amended. I guess we didn't list the amendment
Oh,
though.
yes, okay. I
So
matched
just-
the- yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
just
got it.
just list what the amendment was. I know it's
Okay.
around the,
Yeah.
was it July 4th, I think?
July 4th
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah.
The July 4th holiday.
Yeah, that
So
was,
that's all.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, just to put
We
in the
changed
minutes
it to
though
the
what it
3rd
was.
instead of the 4th,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, all right, I'll second it with those 2 amendments.
Okay, thank you.
any further discussion? All those in support of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.